Everything's looking good. Everything's looking good.
Some people got to have it. Yeah. Some people really need it. Listen to me, y'all. Do things, bad things with it. Well, you gonna do things, good things with it. Yeah. Talk about cash, money. Talk about gas money, dollar bills, y'all. Come on now. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. People will steal from their mother. People will rob their own brother. People can't even walk the streets because they'll never know in the world they're gonna meet for that need. Oh, need, green, almighty dollar. That money, drink. People will lie, they will cheat. People don't care who they hurt or be. A woman will sell her precious body for a small piece of paper.
Oh man, I'm just getting things warmed up right here. I see we got the stream going on Facebook right now. We got the stream going on Playback TV. We got the stream going on YouTube right now. This is Poeticlee, yours truly, and we get into this week. This is Rizz in the morning. Rizz in the morning. Rizz talk in the morning. Look at that. I'm just very excited to get to this experience. Excited to bring this to you. This has been an experience that's just going to come. You're going to see some things. So if you're wondering what Rizz Radio, make sure you download the app. This is Black owned. Shout out to Asia Cobbs, that's the owner and founder of Rizz Radio, and she's bringing this thing to life, and she trusted me to be able to do something special. Be able to really tap into what my audience, what my voice can bring, what my creativity can bring, and how I can mix that with her audience, mix that with the audience that's on Rizz Radio, mix that with the audience of mine, and be able to present something different. It started off from being about, I'm a poet. So if you kind of hints that from the name Poeticlee, Poeticle. I'm gonna spell that because sometimes people get the name mixed up. They get it spelling all types of crazy. But if you, I'm a poet, producer, and a lot with this thing was really coming together from the very beginning to do like poetic minutes and bring poetry into the radio space. And I was, as we were putting that together, as we were putting those thoughts together, and I was being able to craft that, because she's like, hey, look, the creativity, run with it, do what you can with it. And as I'm putting that together, it made only sense. I've done so many different podcast shows. I've done so many different productions and throughout my career. So it only made sense to now finally get into the mode and get into that gear of, you know what, let's really go ahead and put together a very thorough a radio show. Right. I listen to Sirius XM. I listen to these other radio platforms. And right now, especially right now during these times, it's important how we're talking to our communities. It's important how we're speaking the languages that are going to activate us to get to our highest self, get to our brightest self through all trials and tribulations. It's not about being perfect, but it's about having the right guidance, having the right conversation, having the right support, having the right platforms that you can trust, and that you can listen to, that you can get resourceful information from. So that's what this is about, and I'm grateful to bring this to Rizz Radio. So if you, again, I'm streaming right now on Facebook, I'm streaming right now on YouTube. If you want to find me on there, you can find Poeticlee YouTube, and I'm streaming right now on Playback TV. Shout out to that platform that's being able to help this streaming process come smoothly together. And we're also live, of course, on Rizz Radio. So make sure you download Rizz Radio app, and you'll hear this now, starting now from Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Bringing you something different every day, different topics every day, different themes every day to help just reignite who we are as people, reignite our passions, reignite our just our ambitions, reignite what we're talking about, our programming, right? Because radio deals with a lot of programming. So with programming, I start with the money, 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 right? Because man, they say some people got to have it. I think during these time periods, we're all noticing how are we having it. So you may see a poll question if you're on Facebook. Definitely tap into the poll question, and the poll question I had this week, you'll see it on there. Is what's the smarter way to spend your money this week? You know, because yeah, we're coming off a very American, you can really say an American holiday, that is Super Bowl weekend. I'm gonna do some, I've pulled up some numbers here just to dive into it, because the whole thing about what we're gonna bring to this presentation, what we're gonna bring to these conversations, is we're gonna bring insight, we're gonna bring dialogue, and we're gonna bring different understandings of what's going on in this world and how we are moving as people, what our influence is doing to society, what our influence is doing to brands, what our influence is doing to the makeup of this world, as we're noticing the very thing that's always been used as a tool is now being used as the system that's operating us as people, and that is money. Say it with me: money. That money, that moolah, and and it's a thing where yeah, when you get to certain systems, when you get into certain networks, sure, bartering is a very helpful tactic, a very helpful trade to participate in. Though at the same time, we're not, I mean, right now, you can't go to Walmart, you can't go to a store. I don't want to just put any brand out there, but you can't just go to a store and just say, "Hey, I want to bring my, TV in. Can I get a new TV?" Some places have certain things that you can do that, but it's in the makeup of their system where it makes sense for them right in that minute. But it's not just on a universal board of how you can trade things, right? The main thing that if you want to go get some food right now, you need that money. So Rizz Talk in the Morning, I want to be very empowering, and I want to be very instructive, and I want to be very intentional with how we're going about using our money throughout us. And I think it's the best thing to do and best thing to talk about as we're going into the beginning of our week, right? How we're going into the beginning of our week. What are some things? I mean, you're coming off Super Bowl weekend, if you celebrate that, which a lot of Americans do, and even across the seas, across the borders. People participate in some of the celebrations. People participate in watching the commercials. People participate in being able to utilize their own businesses and sell new products, use deals, to that can obviously attract the audience of those that match, that align with their brand. And you're being very intentional and strategic by doing that, because it brings a return, right? And that at the end of the day, you need that return, because it's going to keep things afloat, it's going to keep things moving. So when I look at this weekend, and before I even get to that, when I look at this week, what I want to do with Rizz and money. This our Monday conversations about Rizz and money. How that Rizz is that charisma, that Rizz is that charm, that Rizz is the power of your attraction towards money, and the power that you're using in the mindset towards your money, right? And I think it's important that we're going to have fun conversations. We're going to have fun dialogue. We're going to have very enlightening dialogue as we start the weeks off with that. And I think it's only right that we start our first very show off with Rizz and money. So down the line, look, I'm going to be talking to financial institutions. I'm going to be talking to financial advisors. I'm going to be talking to accountants. I'm going to be talking to some very insightful people that are going to drop some gems. They're going to drop some jewels on how you as a business can use your money wisely, and how you as an individual can use your money wisely, right? So let's just go down a list, and we're going to play some music that's going to match the theme of today as we go throughout the show, as we go throughout the broadcast. Though I wanted to start off by really getting into our conversation for the beginning of this segment and show by just looking at our, our most recent big American just broadcast and entertainment platform, which was the Super Bowl, NFL Super Bowl. And when I just kind of give you a highlight of why this is such a big thing, now I'm going to tell you, my mom, she loves the Puppy Bowl. Did the Puppy Bowl happen yesterday? I'm so behind. I'm so out of it. The Puppy Bowl 2025. Did it take place yesterday? Did typically the Puppy Bowl 2025 takes place like during the same time as the Super Bowl? And or did it? No. Oh, wait. We're gonna see. I think it did take place. I think it did take place. Yeah, it did take place. It did take place yesterday. So we're gonna talk about the Puppy Bowl as well because boy, that might be a whole nother show and a whole nother experience for another time because as you've known, animals, man, animals, pets, costs, pets, money and pets. Oh man, that's gonna be a whole nother segment by itself. And how much dog food are you spending a month? Right? But let's go back into our topic. The economics of the Super Bowl advertising, right? And I'm gonna start with the advertising because I tell you all the time, I'm telling my people all the time, you want to be in a business that will never go out of business. That's gonna be your advertising, baby. And by the way, if you want to advertise with us right here on Rizz Radio, and if you want to advertise right here on Rizz Talk in the morning, for our specifically, let's say you're a financial institution. Let's say you are an accountant. Let's say you are dealing with credit and you want to help people with their credit. It's tax season right now. You can advertise right here with us right here on Rizz Talk in the morning. Just contact me. Contact at poeticlee.com. That's contact at poeticlee.com. And we want to definitely be able to make sure our audience lines up with your audience and make sure our audience lines up with your brand and knows what you're going to do for the people and bring to them. All right. So the economics of the Super Bowl advertising, which every year when I was growing up, one of the biggest things to talk about, one of the biggest things to always check in for outside of the game, before I was even tapped into the game like that, I was tapped in a little bit, but it was always the commercials. Like, okay, what is Budweiser going to do? What's Pepsi going to do? What are these brands that have these mega millions going to do and spend that money for the one advertising that you're hitting hundreds of millions of viewers one night, and you had that one shot to leave such a lasting impression for a whole year? That really sets the tone. Doritos, growing up, Doritos had dynamic commercials. Last night, it could be debatable. It could be debatable. I think they went with a very cultural trend of the whole alien talk, and I think that was cool. But yeah, let's get into it. So escalating cost in 2025. I mean, when I remember being in marketing class. Shout out to Jay Wu Johnson of Wells. And I remember back then we talked about how average Super Bowl advertising at that time period, I believe, was like $3 million for a 30-second ad. And you're like, what? $3 million though? When you're talking about some of these brands and some of these businesses, they have a marketing budget already going into the year, right? So let's think about this. Stuff is very strategic. We're going to talk about that. Already going into the year, your marketing budget may be 200 million. Your marketing budget could be 500 million. Your marketing budget can be 50 million, right? That is definitely going towards the Super Bowl and being able to put a bid in for a creative Super Bowl. Now, that's just for the advertisement itself. We're not even talking about how much it may cost to produce the content for the Super Bowl, which, man, if many remember in 2024 Super Bowl, shout out to Kanye, no matter how you view him and view his antics and view what he's, what it may be, aligning with you or not, there's some things he does is just like, okay, man, he stole, he walked off, he ran in the cultural terms, he ran off on the plug. And in 2024, him being able to just put up a cell phone video of him saying, hey, yo, everybody go to yay.com or his website at that time and purchase my shoes, right? A iPhone, possibly just a cell phone video, put and submit that in because he's Yay, that's going to make it to the Super Bowl. Now, a lot of you, no, you can't just do a video like that. It's going to get turned down. Probably it's going to raise a lot of questions, but hey, that's why it comes down to who you are, who you know, and how does that affect the people? How do people know what you'll bring to a platform? How do people know what you're going to bring to a whole experience? If people trust that, they're going to let you in the door. We're going to talk about that on Rizz Talk in the morning, and we're going to talk about that right here on our Rizz and Money Mondays. So I talked about years ago how ads were $3 million. In 2025, a 30-second Super Bowl commercial reached records of $8 million, up, 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 up from 7 million in 2023 and 5.5 million in 2021. So right there, it shows you right there, hey man, money, money, money. We talking about in 2021, commercial 30-second Super Bowl ad was 5.5 million, and now we're talking about 8 million. In historical perspective, if for those that are listening, for those that are watching, follow with me. This is Rizz Money. You may have a business, you may have a brand, you may be in your marketing department, you may be in your advertising department, and you're thinking about these. These are numbers to consider, and these are numbers to really be tapped in on. Historical perspective, right? In 1967, during the Super Bowl, the first Super Bowl, a similar ad slot just cost $37,500. This right here shows you where we're growing. We're showing you how the dynamics of the dollar changes, not just every year, every freaking second. See, people like to say this is the time we're in, right? And I think this is going to be a whole nother conversation, because people look at Bitcoin and they see Bitcoin go up, down, right? Well, your dollar is doing the same exact thing. It's just such a tangible, and it's such a the slot in the range and the box that it's in, how we view that dollar going up and down is totally different, right? Because it's in your Bitcoin is in your face. You're seeing the constant fluctual change. Though that dollar clearly right there is showing you where Super Bowl in the first in 1967 could cost an ad 37,000, where we are 2025, and that's $8 million, right? For that same slot. What's happening? Why aren't things the same? Because we're talking about production, we're talking about quality, we're talking about our audience isn't even making the same kind of money. So no, we're putting more into this because we're hoping to get more out of them. Now that goes to question, that goes to beg, right? Should Americans be spending as much as we are spending, right? But I mean, these brands, these companies see their return on investment, right? You're talking about over 115 million viewers tuning in to one event. 115 million viewers tuning into one event. So yeah, I mean, when you have that, just hitting a quarter of that, depending on what your product is, can really offset those costs that you spent in marketing. And that's what these brands know. That's what they know as far as the partnerships that they're building. They know that, hey, this right here is the one time of the year where we're going to cash in. This right here is the one time of the year where we're going to hit our quota, and we're going to do what we have to do. So, it's about moving smart. It's about moving strategic. Super Bowl as a business, as a brand on multi-level scales is one of those things. It teaches you, what it does is it teaches you why being in front of the right audience works, and how to be in front of the right audience, and how to utilize the most of your time. You're talking about 30 seconds. You're talking to somebody, myself, who's in advertising, on why the importance of time and being able to use that time is so vital. It's so vital because you have that limited time, and why creativity, why the artists matter, right? Because a lot of people want to look at the data on they and it's so funny. Financial people can look and say, why do we need to spend this on marketing? And marketing people, I'll tell you, or creatives will tell you, because this right here, we are speaking to the language of people, right? We're speaking to the heart of people. We're speaking to the minds, the psychology of people. A lot of that time works at a measurement, and works at a degree that a lot of financial people, a lot of people in black and white owners, they don't understand that. They see one aspect. Well, just post a picture, right? You can't just post a picture of your product sometimes and think that's going to bring in your audience. What you need to do, how are you creatively speaking to your audience, right? How are these commercials actually tune us in? They already have the hype of, oh, I want to tune in and I want to listen to that commercial. I want to watch it because I know the Super Bowl is going to bring about some big commercials. But how are you actually taking advantage of now the moment that people are hyped into, right? So, but let's talk about it because on these Super Bowl weekends, because I'm going to go into how we're spending our money throughout the week, right? I really want to say thank you again to everybody that's tuned in right now to Rizz Talk in the Morning. Rizz Talk in the Morning by yours truly, Poeticlee, Poeticlee. And this is Experience once again. We're streaming on Facebook, streaming on YouTube, streaming on Playback TV, and I'm also streaming on yours truly, the one and the one that's bringing it all together is Rizz Radio. So make sure you download the Rizz Radio app. Download the Rizz Radio app. If you do not, I think it's right now only in Apple Store. So we're gonna work and get that in the Google Store, the Google Play Store as well. But again, if you're not able to tune into those other if you're not if you don't have an Apple product and you're not able to tune in on the Google Apple Store, then you can also tune into it on Facebook Live, and you can also tune into it on my YouTube Poeticlee. So just look up Poeticlee. And we're gonna get into some music here too, because I want to just get in. I'm a DJ. Shout out to my pops. I was raised a DJ. I'm in music production, but I'm also here wanting to make sure I bring this insight, and we have some really, helpful conversations. So before we get into a first break, I wanted to talk about, because I'm gonna talk about how we're spending our money, but Super Bowl reality check. And a lot of people are going to come from this weekend saying, "Did I overspend? Did I overspend? Did I put too much out?" A lot of people were counting their pennies before going into the weekend. We know we're going to get chips. We're going to get this kind of food. We're going to get this kind of decorations. We're going to have this many people over. Hey, you bring this over. And how many people went overboard, right? With the snacks, the parties, the drinks. We're going to get into the bets, because boy, somebody that grew up and saw how sports gambling was looked down upon. It's a total different thing. It's a total different experience to now see how sports gambling is just out there. So we're talking about a Super Bowl weekend spending hit 17 estimate 17.3 billion this week. And this year, the Super Bowl weekend spending hit 17.3 billion this year. That's an average of that's an average of $86 per person. $86 per person. But we're going to talk about how is that energy going into your week? How is that energy of coming off big heavy weekend, especially as we go into Valentine's week? And wait, is this NBA All-Star weekend too? I think this is NBA All-Star weekend. We're going to check into that too, because I want to say this is NBA All-Star. I'm so off right now. It is NBA All-Star weekend. Oh man. So you're coming off Super Bowl weekend. Some of you are coming off Super Bowl weekend, going into Valentine's Day, going right into NBA All-Star weekend. Hey, some of you got your hands full. Nah, but these are the things that we're talking about. And these are things we want to be mindful of, because man, when life gets going, when life gets, really out there, how are you able to really stand on to it throughout these different heavy spending weekends, holiday weekends, and really get into it? So much to get into when we talk about this past weekend and what that means. But I was supposed to have this ready already. I wanted to have some audio queued up, but before we get into that audio, I wanted to tell everybody again, what we're doing here and what we're bringing the conversation, I want to know from you all, and I want to make this an interactive experience. So if you're tapped in with me, make sure you get on the Facebook, make sure you get on the Playback TV, because I really want to know what you think happening from the game, from the spending on the game, from all these different things taking place. But I really want to talk about, if we talking about money, we got to talk about the halftime performer. And right now, let's get into one of the halftime performer's songs. If you know who he is, let's go. Shout out to Rizz Radio right here. Yours truly, Poeticlee. Let's go.
Me and my niggas tryna get it, yeah bitch. Yeah bitch. Hit that house, they tell me is you with it, yeah bitch. Yeah bitch. Home invasion was persuasive. From 9 to 5, I know it's vacant, you bitch. Dreams of living life like rappers do. Back when condom rappers wasn't cool. They wasn't. I fucked Shireen and went to tell my bros. Then Usher Raymond let it burn came on. Hot sauce all that not top rhyming, you bitch. Park the car, then we start rhyming, you bitch. The only thing we had to free our mind. Then freeze that verse when we see dollar signs. You looking like an easy come up, you bitch. A silver spoon, I know you come from, you bitch. And that's a lifestyle that we never knew. Go at a reverend for the revenue.
Go Halle Berry or hallelujah. Pick your poison, tell me what you're doing. Everybody go respect the shooter, but the one in front of the gun lives forever.
One in front of the gun forever.
And I've been hustling all day, this away, that away, through canals and alleyways, just to say, money trees is the perfect place for shade, and that's just how I feel. Nah, $8 might just fuck your main bitch, that's just how I feel. Nah, $8 might say fuck them niggas that you game with, that's just how I feel. Nah, $8 might just make that lane switch, that's just how I feel. Nah, $8 might turn to $1 million and we all rich, that's just how I feel.
Dreams of living life like rappers do. Bump that new E40 at the school. You know big ballin' with my homies. Bro Stevens had us thinking rational. Back to reality, we pour ya bitch. Ain't nothing casualty at war, ya bitch. 2 bullets in my Uncle Tony head. He said one day I'll be on tour, ya bitch. That Louisburgers never be the same. A Louis Belter never eats that pain. But I'ma purchase when that day is jerking. Pull off at churches with Pirelli skirting. Gang signs out the window, ya bitch. Hoping all of them offend you, ya bitch. They say your hood is a pot of gold. And we go crash it when nobody's home.
Halle Berry or hallelujah. Pick your poison, tell me what you're doing. Everybody go respect the shooter, but the one in front of the gun lives forever.
In front of the gun forever.
And I've been hustling all day, this away, that away, through canals and alleyways, just to say, money trees is the perfect place for shade, and that's just how I feel. Nah, $8 might just fuck your main bitch, that's just how I feel. Nah,
yeah.
say fuck them niggas that you gave with.
Let's go. Oh man, we back. You know, we playing music on this thing, and I totally forgot about Facebook, man. We're gonna figure that Facebook situation out. They say, hey, this live will end if you keep playing music. You keep playing that Kendrick Lamar. Hey, I want to say one time for hip hop. Shout out to Kendrick Lamar. Shout out to Kendrick Lamar. I mean, what a performance. A hell of a performance. What an intentional performance. What a very spiritual performance, and what a very cultural performance as what the waves that he's been on, the whole point that he's been on. And I want to get right into talking about, of course, we're going to get into talking about ourselves and how we're spending our money as we talk about Rizz and money right here on Rizz Talk in the Morning. Rizz Talk in the Morning, hosted by yours truly, Poeticlee, Poeticlee. I mean, this is our first show right here. So trust and wait. Best believe in due time, you're going to hear applause. You're going to hear, woo, you're going to hear all the sound effects. I'm doing all this right here, producing this myself. And I'm very grateful, to be able to know how to do this and be able to tap into doing this. I started podcasting in 2013, actually, when I was in college, being able to learn how to use my voice and know that was my platform to always go into. My digital media teacher in high school, she told me, she said, you for radio. And you kind of, at that time, because radio is still very, you have internet radio a little bit at that time, but people have their own thoughts about internet radio and what that means and what that looks like versus, okay, we're on terrestrial. far as just the actual station. Though when you really look at it, everything, especially being now in this given time and space, how the tech wars and the tech companies are, it's about streaming. When you look at YouTube, when you look at, I mean, we're on YouTube, we're streaming on Facebook, we're streaming on Playback TV, and this app itself, Rizz Radio, which you can download the App Store for right now, is only on the App Store. It'll come to Google Play soon. But when you look at uh, these different modalities that people are able to use of their voice, it all just comes down to how you're able to use it. Because man, it doesn't matter, as long as you can be able to put that out, that information out, to put that content out, it will hit somebody and it will hit the audience it needs to hit. So I'm saying that because somebody out there is going to be doing the same thing we're doing today, is being able to start something from just a concept and actually put it into motion. And I want to talk about the other concepts that we've been able to put into motion right here on Rizz Radio app. You can catch myself and Dom. Dom is another dope artist that's out of North Carolina, but he's on the move right now as well throughout Texas. And Dom is, it would definitely get into Dom's story this afternoon. Dom and I will be doing a music talk show. So I'm gonna talk about Kendrick Lamar from the Super Bowl financial aspect right now in just a few, and moving as a business and brand, though we will be getting to more of the music side. And you can check that out right here on Rizz Radio app in the afternoon, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can also, that will be streaming on Facebook, that will be streaming on YouTube as well. So definitely tap in with that. And if you don't know, I'm on Instagram, Poeticlee, Poeticlee. You can tap into me, all the things that I do, my music. I am an artist. I'm steady putting music out. And I also host and curate events that go on throughout the North Carolina area, especially here in Winston-Salem. Shout out to Simply Sonya's, where we do our R&B Wednesdays. Yeah, shout out to DJ Alex. And we also do R&B and poetry at Bar Nola. Shout out to Bar Nola. Man, those two of my stomping grounds where we get active in Winston in the Triad area. If you know, you know. So shout out to that. And then also we're definitely going to get into some of the different content pieces that we're going to put out throughout the week. What we have going on tomorrow, what we have going on Wednesday, what we have going on Thursday. We're going to get into all of that. And I'm very just excited to get this thing rolling, get this thing going, you know, to be able to work all the moving components. I mean, with like I said, streaming on YouTube, I'm sure somebody's going to let me know how it sounds and how it looks on YouTube right now. And then streaming on Facebook, what that experience is like. Not seeing a little bit of engagement. We want to definitely pick up the engagement. So we're going to see how that works and how to continue to build this up. I mean, it's starting out, and things, when we talk about advertising, I just spent the whole first half an hour talking about Super Bowl advertising and what that means and what that looks like to businesses, brands, individuals, right? When you're talking about these different aspects, advertising comes down to so much. When we talk about being, let's get into the more, I was coming off that song right there, Kendrick Lamar, Money Trees, because this is our Rizz and Money Mondays, Rizz and Money Moolah Mondays, because life is always pulling you so many different directions, right? Life is always guiding you in so many directions, though one of those directions that seems to have us all on one accord or another is money. How we're making our money, how we're managing our money, how we're sustaining our money, how we're giving our money, right? How we're spending our money, and what we're doing to actually benefit our pockets and a return of investments that actually don't always include a dollar bill, right? So it's been kind of reported throughout the years how the Super Bowl halftime is an unpaid show. What? Yes, the Super Bowl is an unpaid show. And it's been one of the things that's been reported because I think plenty of times people want to come out and of course wonder how much are people getting paid for the Super Bowl? Are they getting this? Are they getting that? I mean, you get some of your biggest known artists, and that's what the whole point of the show, and that's what the whole point of the Super Bowl is. You don't just come, hey, the Super Bowl, this is kind of no pun intended, but shout out to that man Aubrey Drake. He said, big as the what? Big as the Super Bowl. I should put that as just a drop and just have that as a sound going in the background now. Big as the what? Rizz Radio is big as the what? because it's Super Bowl. But that right there is one, again, we're talking about you reaching over 115 million viewers at one time. And specifically when it comes to the halftime show, because when the game gets going itself, if it's anything like last night, I didn't even want to do it. I didn't want to harm, I didn't want to offend anybody. Of course I did. Let's get it. Our NFL, if you did not know, the Super Bowl, Philadelphia Eagles, man, look at me. What such a broadcast to bring it up 37 minutes later, but it's okay. We're talking, we're here about the money, man. Forget about who won. A lot of businesses won, a lot of brands won, a lot of gamblers won. Those are the people that won. We're talking about the Eagles being able to beat the Kansas City Chiefs and stomp and ruin their hopes of doing a three-peat. Let's drink on that real quick. Not anything, whatever you want to drink. I'm gonna have some water real quick. But yes, the Philadelphia Eagles went on to rout them last night. And I am curious to get into the money aspects of that. I am 1000% curious to get into, the winners, the losers, how that game went for a lot of people. I know there's so many different gambling apps, so many different sports betting apps now that really get to empower you to put $5 for this play. I always thought the best type of, I guess the safest type of betting, if you will, or being able to wager is being able to actually put, excuse me, being able to put money actually on the players themselves and what they can do versus the team outcome, because that can go crazy. But if you're putting money on and saying, hey, I think Mahomes will get 100 yards passing, that it puts you in a better situation than trying to say, hey, I think they're going to get the whole win altogether. So, that was that. The Eagles, man, it looked crazy the whole game. I saw, Kansas City tried to make a little comeback at the very end, the final score 40-22. But I mean, it was a bloodbath. What was it, about 34-0 before the Eagles scored? I mean, it may have been 37-0 before the Eagles scored. Sorry, not before the Eagles scored, but before Kansas City scored. And that just got looking crazy ugly right there. So shout out to anybody that made it come up. Shout out to the people that made it come up on that. But what I will say and what I get back into was talking about our Super Bowl halftime performer, Mr. Kendrick Lamar himself, which we talked about. It's been something that said that's how the halftime show is unpaid. Though I don't know about that. I'm going to do some more digging. We're going to do some more talking on that, because maybe it may be unpaid to the artists themselves, but I'm pretty sure some of the brands that are around that situation, that I'm pretty sure there's something worked out there. We're gonna figure it out. But the Super Bowl performers don't get paid, right? But we know the NFL covers the production cost. So that's one of the things you have to think about, that maybe in how you're moving as a business, right? When we talk about Kendrick Lamar, how he has PG Lang now, his own business. He's able to send an invoice to the NFL, which he's a part of. And this is how you move smart as a business. That's why I say moving as a brand, moving as a business. I have my business that does events and curates R&B and poetry throughout North Carolina, and that being poetic R&B. And yeah, if I'm not getting paid as an artist, guess what? I'm making production costs. Send my invoice right here. Cover this, because guess what? I'm putting together the choreography, which we saw was amazing from all corners and all spectrums. We're going to talk about the music tonight on Talking Music with Dom and Lee. But then when you see the choreography, when you see the production of how the street setup is, the car, Samuel L. Jackson being there, these are all things that are part of production cost. So I think it's a very strategic way if you go about that as an artist, and how you can, utilize your brand, utilize your platform, utilize your business to actually negotiate the funds for yourself, rather than just always moving as an individual, which sometimes can get a little tricky and a little muddy waters. I will say again, you're reaching over 150 million viewers in that game. So streaming, and now you even talking about streaming, right? So now you're not only just talking about the fact that you can you can just hit the live viewership that's on TV, but now you're gonna, that the video is, they're putting it out. Last night, I watched this performance again when I got back home from my pops. It's on YouTube. That's on Apple. Shout out to Apple Music, who does the halftime performances, which is partnered with Rock Nation, Jay-Z's company. And we're talking about now those you're able to go onto YouTube and watch the performance again. You're able to go to these other platforms and watch the performance again. It was purported Rihanna's streaming, her music streaming jumped 640% in 24 hours after her 2023 performance. If you remember that, I can't remember where they were. Were they in? I can't remember if they were Vegas or where they were for that one. Look at me, about to be totally off of that. But what was the 2023 perform? What was the 2023 Super Bowl? We'll look that up in a minute. But when you talk about these different occasions, this is artists see the benefit, right? Artists see the what it's worth to actually get out there, because it does pay off for you in the long run. It pays off with you. And it's crazy. The 2023 Super Bowl, we talking about that was the Chiefs versus the Eagles. The Chiefs won by a field goal at the very end, and that was actually in Arizona. Yeah, shout out to Glendale, Arizona, where the Cardinals play. And when you talk about these numbers, and your streaming jumping up 640%. Now, you as an artist, if that's your publishing, if that's you as the producer, however you play in the scope of that, people are going back and running those YouTube numbers up, which you can monetize from. They're running those streaming platforms numbers up, which people do. There is a debate in that hey, streaming doesn't pay, but guess what does? The data, huh? The data. I know I may be saying a lot right here, but I want you to follow me well. Follow me well. The data is what's going to cover. So I think a lot of times what you see when you have artists is that they may not know how to utilize their data. So what's happening is right now you have a lot of people saying, "Oh, streaming doesn't play." So I mean, excuse me, streaming doesn't pay well. Well, how are you utilizing that data, and how are you utilizing that to leverage yourself so that it can pay well, right? Kendrick Lamar, he's going to show you that, hey, this many people, when he has his production company, this many people tuned into this right here. I had this peak right here, this spike right here. If you go to YouTube, here are the numbers. If you go over here, here's the numbers. Here's what my streaming did. And within the 24 hours after people listen to it, here's what my streaming has done after the week, because it kept playing afterwards. I don't want to play it right now and get us flagged, but I will play it soon later. Else I'll play a little something in the background of it. But when you're talking about these different platforms, and when you talk about these different companies that you want to work with, man, they're looking at the numbers. They're looking at what you're talking about. They're looking at how you're moving the needle. A lot of people were like, "Oh my gosh, is he going to play Not Like Us? Is he going to play not like us?" Yeah. I'm running a business here. Let me tell you right now. The NFL is showcasing a collision sport, not a physical contact sport. They are showcasing a collision sport where people are getting hurt, gladiators at war. You think we're not going to watch Kendrick Lamar talk about, talk about, say, Drake, I heard you like him, don't let him come suing me. I ain't about to say, nah. But you think that's not the moment to talk about it and use that data right there just to say, hey, I got this many people tuned in? Of course, that is going to now do numbers. These people aren't really tapped in. Don't get caught in all the smoke. Don't get caught in all the facade that, oh, people are they're so tapped in. They're so worried about him saying this or saying that. No. That's not the case at all. Trust me, that's not the case at all. Yeah, there's some regulations that you want to stick by and that you want to be mindful of. But guess what, too? People want to see if you're bringing in those numbers, those viewerships. And guess what he did? He brought in those viewerships, right? So by bringing in those viewerships, it's allowing him as an artist to be smart. It's allowing him as a production company to be smart and how to actually take that to other production companies and say, hey, I did these numbers. Let's re-up a deal. I think I'm owed this X amount, to work with, because this is the value that I bring. And guess what? I'm hot right now. So that's why he's going on tour. So I want to get back into a little bit more when it comes. And I want to say too, we got anybody that's out there listening, we're gonna do something new. Shout out to Andrea Cole. Appreciate you pulling into the chat. I want to say right now, Andrea, we're gonna get talking about her because she's gonna have a segment that's gonna come later this week. And on our Wellness Wednesday, you'll hear her at 8 a.m. Again, this broadcast is brought to you by a Rizz Radio app. Rizz Radio app. Make sure you download the app if you can on your Apple devices. If you're not able to do it there, no problem. Listen to it on YouTube and listen to it live on YouTube, streaming live on YouTube right now on Playback TV, and also we're on Facebook, which I had to stop the music a little bit earlier. I had to remember, we got to talk over that music because they don't like that music playing by itself. Boy, they say they're not trying to get sued. Kendrick said, I don't care. You can try to sue, but I'm not. Facebook said, I'm not trying to get sued. When we talk about the strategic business moves as a performer and how to leverage these platforms, right? Because that's what it comes down to. This is Rizz and Money Mondays. Rizz and Money Mondays. We're talking about the Rizz, the charm, the charisma as an artist, that you're going to make sure you are selling something, right? You are selling something. Now, we're not selling our souls, hopefully, here, right? Hollywood, but we are being able to promote ourselves in the highest light so that it can, with integrity, right? So if you're doing something that aligns with your brand's messaging, you're doing something that aligns with your brand's mantra, i.e., let's go back to Rihanna. Rihanna, how she launched her Fenty beauty products immediately after her performance. If you go back to 2023, and that's after that Super Bowl performance, she launched new Fenty beauty products. Come on now, I don't need to get paid from this. I'm getting the NFL to cover my production costs, and I'm getting the NFL to now put me on the biggest stage with 100 million plus. Not, I mean, 200 million at that point, but I mean, the number just gets crazy because it lives on the digital space forever, right? So not only am I getting that, but I'm also going to put this product out there that's going to hit. If I hit a quarter of that, again, if I hit a quarter of that, I mean, I'm come on. Let's see. Let's talk about it. Kendrick Lamar's halftime show, of course, isn't just about his music, but he's also letting you know, hey, the revolution is televised right now. The revolution is televised. He just dropped an album not too long, a couple months ago. That's going to bring it back into streaming. That's going to bring it back into the forefront. He's going on tour. When is his tour? When does Kendrick Lamar tour start? Let's look that up real quick, because he's getting ready to go on tour. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if you don't think this, if some of those cities weren't sold out, which I'm not, I mean, he's going on tour with SZA, and I'm pretty sure those that had to be sold, that had to be sold out by now. I can't see. Oh, he's starting off in May. Is he starting off in May, or is he starting off in April? No, he's starting off way before May. We're gonna look that up and get like the official dates, man. I definitely want to. Hey, if you want to sponsor, matter of fact, Rizz Radio Asia, we got to figure this out. How does Rizz Radio get at a Kendrick Lamar show? Mr. Lamar, I would obviously want to do a track with you. I'm trying to spit. I'm trying to, I got to get my pen moving, definitely, so you can understand what we got to do some music together down the line, or I got to do some production with PG Lane, the company. But more importantly, Asia, we got to figure out how do we get Rizz Radio at a Kendrick Lamar show? We got to make that happen. We got to make that happen. So he starts off his tour on April 19th in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So I mean, what, April? That's a month. So I mean, he's on tour right after this performance. The end of this month, you kind of ground, you get yourself landed. You see what this Super Bowl performance did. You take March to get back into rehearsal mode for tour. March is all rehearsal mode. Just because his tour don't start to April, his tour starts now. It's been started now. He's been rehearsing. So over this next month, and of course, they're getting everything laid out. They're making sure they go over the production setup. They're making sure that you see all the choreography that this man has, the dancers that this man has. I mean, yeah, like he's on tour now. So I mean, I'm pretty sure this is gonna do anything but push that, because when people saw that had to go crazy. And I mean, he's doing a stadium tour. This is a stadium tour. This is a stadium. Man, this is crazy. This is a stadium tour. I mean, the only other hip hop artists I've seen do a stadium tour, shout out to Drake and J. Cole, they did their stadium. I think they did like a few dates in stadiums last year. But Jay-Z, he did it obviously with Beyonce a few times. He did it with Justin Timberlake. A few, that one summer, what was it? Summer Legends. I'll look it up later. But Jay-Z did a summer tour. But I mean, oh man, I see why this is gonna be crazy. And oh man, Kendrick Lamar is gonna be in Charlotte at the Bank of America Stadium. Rizz Radio has to be there. We're gonna figure out how to be there because that's gonna be Cinco de Mayo weekend. Shout out to my boy Swain. That's his birthday weekend. And I know those tickets are going crazy. I mean, you're talking about 60,000 people, and some of these places, 70,000 people. Yes, I'm going to do the Super Bowl, and yes, I'm going to put on. I don't need to get paid from this performance. I'm about to go on tour and kill it. Man, if you thought Kendrick Lamar had made bread before on tour, it's about to get crazier. I know I've just gone into a rabbit hole of that, but I mean, I think that's going to be pretty amazing. When you think about, again, we're talking about leveraging yourself. This is Rizz and Money Monday. How are you allowing your brand, allowing who you are as an artist, allowing your charisma to actually push yourself and be in the right positions? That's one of the things I talk about with artists. You may do a show and not get paid, right? But what does that do in the product? Is the production something that's worth being able to monetize, be able to kind of like promote other things off of? Is this something that able to kind of transition other aspects of your career off of? These are the things that you have to think about. These are things you have to be mindful of. These are the things that you have to be aware of. And I'm just glad to see that he's on that page, he's on that wavelength. Let's get into right here. Let's get into some of the. I said, obviously he's gonna put out the tour, some of the merch. But when we talk about the show itself, right? And when I told you Apple Music is brought to you by Apple Music, and then it's also the management of it is Rock. Excuse me, my brain went blank. Rock Nation, Jay-Z's company, Rock Nation. And it's been estimated, it's been reported, $13 million production budget. It's a 13. Hold on, let me drink my water right now. We're gonna drink out the mug real quick. Oh yeah. Stay hydrated. 13 million. 13 million production budget. So let me ask artists out there, right? Because I curate events and I want to know this really. Would you rather get paid $500,000? And we're just saying, let's say we're speaking about being on the Super Bowl. Would you rather get paid $500,000 to $1 million, or would you rather work with a production company or work with a business that has a $13 million production budget? I don't know about you, but I'm taking that $13 million production budget. I'm seeing if we can make that be 13 million and one. Can we push that one more dollar up just because I want to make sure that I'm getting every single penny plus a little bit more, because the NFL spent around $13 million on this year's halftime production. Woo, covering everything from stage design, lighting, special effects. But I mean, when you think about it, when you really think about what, and even shout out to SZA performing as well. I mean, yeah, come on, like these artists are gonna put in their own aspects and make sure they have certain things themselves covered, invested into the performance as well. So the Weeknd, and the reason why I say that, because it's been reported the Weeknd, if you remember when he did the Super Bowl performance, the Weeknd spent 7 million of his own money in 2021. Come on. Come on. And we have to look and see how much the budget was for that year. But the fact that the Weeknd spent 7 million of his own money in 2021 for his Super Bowl performance shows you the dedication and shows you the devotion that it takes and the commitment it takes as an artist and as a brand. Again, we're talking about businesses and brands. How are you leveraging yourself? How are you putting yourself in the best capability and the best possibility to actually have yourself out there to be heard, to be seen. And what does that investment look like, right? What does that investment look like? What does it do for yourself? And how does it get going? So uh Weekend spent $7 million of his own money. Sheesh. And then we talk about the merch. Again, merch. I don't, let's see. Did K Dot drop some merch last night? Did he drop some merch? I think that would have been dope if he did drop some merch. Uh he had to have dropped some merch. He had to drop some merch. Let's see. Kendrick Lamar merch. We're doing this live. Hey, this is a high production show right now. This is a high production show. But I mean, yeah, like Kendrick, he has the Kendrick Lamar store online, and he has the GNX hoodies. Those look like they're about sold out. That's hard. I'm pretty sure people want to get that now. People definitely want to get that now, and that's dope. I like seeing that. I like seeing him put that into motion. What it takes as an artist to be able to know how to put that in motion. Yeah, that's dope. I'm looking at some of the hoodies now. That's fire. But I mean, for Kendrick, he's so big on cultural impact, and you'll hear more of me talk. You'll hear more of my thoughts on music and cultural impact. This evening when I have the show with Dom, that's Talking Music with Dom right here on Rizz Radio app from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure to tap into that. That will be live stream as well on YouTube. Remember, Poeticlee YouTube, and remember, Facebook as well. And we're also on Playback TV. Playback TV. Shout out to that right there. That's kind of allowing me to stream to all these other platforms. And of course, if you don't know, now you know. Again, Rizz Radio app. Download Rizz Radio app. When I think about Kendrick Lamar and his cultural impact, I think his whole point is bigger than money, though. And even with him having the Uncle Sam, utilizing Samuel L. Jackson to play this Uncle Sam part, it's like, no, you're too ghetto, you're too black, you're too loud. Which, I mean, they're ultimately saying you're too black, right? And let's give him the mainstream stuff and how he's, all right, I'm gonna give you this All the Stars, which, I mean, if you really listen to that verse, he's talking some talk. Kendrick, though, comes off somebody that's bigger than the moment. It's bigger than just the money part. It's about having that cultural impact. It's about, he sees that as, oh, I have the opportunity if I'm given the creative freedom. Like he started off the show, he said, hey, if you gave the right time for the wrong dude, right? And we're gonna get into it. I'm gonna play a little bit of that performance tonight. Not tonight. I'm gonna play a little bit of that performance. I am gonna play a little bit of it tonight, but I'm gonna play a little bit of it right now before we go into our next break, just so you can hear a little bit of that performance if you did miss that performance. Because on our next segment coming up after this, we're going to get into talking more about how we're spending our money this week for ourselves. Get a little bit off the Super Bowl because that weekend has now ended, but it may be catching up to you. So how did you spend this week? Did you spend wisely this weekend? We're going to get into that. But as I kind of wrap up the Kendrick Lamar conversation, because I think it's a very good conversation when it comes to branding, when it comes to knowing your worth as an artist, knowing how to leverage yourself as an artist, knowing how to utilize the right tools and the right platforms that can push yourself out there to get your messaging out there. Kendrick Lamar is the artist and the man to me that sees that as an opportunity to say, you know what, I got some things I want to say, and if you will let me say these. Not if you will let me, but I'm only doing this if I can only do it like this. You need me. I don't need you. Jay-Z said that, one time to the Super Bowl, and then not to the Super Bowl, but he said it to the NFL. And then boom, he's working with, he's now has a position of leadership and guidance with the NFL. Because do you think those moments happen without Jay-Z? Do you think a Kendrick Lamar is performing at the Super Bowl without a Jay-Z involved? Like, I know we want to play these people. I know we want to just kind of like play these people off, like, oh, Jay-Z, you don't rap like this person. But I think it's always bigger than rap. It's always bigger than rap. And if you don't recognize that, if you don't see that, then just give yourself some time. You'll see it. You'll see it. It's about how we're moving, how we're representing ourselves, and how we're allowing ourselves to get into certain doors so certain things can happen. A lot of people criticize Jay-Z when he partnered with the NFL, but guess what? His business, a black-owned business, is now able to get other black creatives I see Ebro and Nadeska, part of Apple Music, which they're obviously Rock Nation, his partner with Apple Music, right? And I see two melanated people doing the artist interviews, right? I'm You're seeing back to back melanated artists on a biggest platform. We're hitting, you know who we're hitting. We're hitting all the audiences. We're hitting the white sticks. We're hitting the corporate whites. And I'm saying that specifically because we know how we know, if you don't know how we're labeled and if you don't know how we're looked, just take time to understand. Maybe that's going to be some of your understanding by listening to my voice, especially on Tuesdays when I do Civics for the Culture. Civics for the Culture will come on Tuesdays on Rizz Radio and Rizz Talk in the Morning. Rizz Talk in the Morning. Our Tuesdays themed conversation is Civics for the Culture because it's important how we're talking about how we're viewed as people, what's happening around us as people, and that is what Kendrick Lamar represents so well. He's going to use that stage and he's going to use it wisely to say, hey, the revolution will be televised. Now, what do you think, right? What are your thoughts on that, right? So if you have some thoughts, you want to call in, you want to talk to us, hey, we're going into the hour now. We can definitely dial us in 980-549-116. Again, the number is 980-549-116. And hey, we're gonna go into a little break right here. Check this out from last night's performance.
It's your uncle, Sam. And this is the great
Oh yeah.
American game.
Oh
We're
yeah.
not going back, powering up. No more handshakes and hugs. The energy only circulate through us. Everybody must be judged. But this time, God only favoring us. 20 years in, still got that pen dedicated to bare hard truth. Etiquette speak with a vision and tongue. Predicate this time is. I'm carrying heavier hearts right now. Like a power lift with Olympians too. Carrying various darts right now. I deserve this like tiramisu. We go body for body. I hand you a body. I'm probably a better masseuse. Really don't bother nobody, but they running by me if I gotta clear out the room. You would not get the picture if I had to sit you for hours in front of the booth. When I have a soul, even if I told you to stand next to Johnny and Q. Thought you were nothing for government cheese, but now I can seize the government too. Remember the foods, them color was tan and brown.
Oh, he going off.
Remember I said on the
He
greatest
going
legend,
off.
the bit is the number one and number two.
Yeah.
It was always hilarious to me. You carried them to me. I brought out the.
Oh man.
The revolution about to be televised. You picked the right time, but the wrong guy.
But the wrong guy. Listen to the creativity. Let's go. Yeah. Let's go.
Looking for the back leap.
Yeah.
Keep a horn on me.
That's-
That's a hot seat.
yeah.
Ownership, the blueprint is by me.
Hey man, this is lit. This is lit. I don't care what you say. The choreography now. If you ain't seen this, and that's this has right now. What is that? This has 500,000 views.
On the flow, let me know if you clocking it. Brody won't go, but I know that he popping it. It was one took his own sales till I silenced it. Pipe down, young, this some whole other politics.
Yeah.
That's a work in him, that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Don't hit him, he got kids with him. My apologies. Get him child, he was packing mouths with the smeared off. We outside, worried about to kill him off. Laps, jack, brick or off. Tell me why you boys rap if it's fictional. Tell me why you boys fed if it's criminal.
Yeah.
Hey, Doc, can I get a drop? No, boom, swing from the west side to Senegal. Full moon, let the wolves out.
I've been a dog.
Squabble off.
Hey, squabble up. Hey, that's what K-Dot said. Hey, squabble up, man. Hey, I just want to say, hold on. This was was definitely one of the most impactful. One of the most. Oh, hold on. Okay. Call. I think we got a call. Hey, that's what's up. Let's get our call. I'm not gonna lie to you. I should be able to see how this works much better than how I'm seeing this. And I know somebody's calling. Yeah. All right. Let's tap in.
Press 1 to send a voice.
Let's tap in. You know what? Hold on, man. And you know what? That's messed up. You don't want to miss your first caller. but you don't want to miss your first call. I definitely just missed. Uh, definitely just missed. I definitely just missed our first caller, but it's okay. We're gonna get back. We're gonna get back to it. We're gonna figure out how to get. Uh, did my browser change? Did my browser block a call coming through? We got to get back to that. 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 We're gonna get back to that. That's okay. Because we want to have our callers call in again. We're gonna have our callers come call in again. I'm trying to check and make sure our settings are not are our settings off. What's our settings like? I hope the settings didn't get off. Yeah, you ain't. I hope the settings didn't get off, but it's cool. We're gonna see. Again, if you want to tap into the show, call 980-980-549-116. Again, that's 980-549-116. And we want to definitely hear what you got to say and what you got to say towards the conversation that we're having. Man, that's gonna go down in my radio history right there. The first call I have, I definitely botched it. Could not figure out how to get the and I test this, and I thought we had a good understanding between my computer and I of what to go down, how to do this, and then it just did not work right. It did not work right. So that's fine. He said my browser might prevent calls from ringing. Hey, well, let's get back into the show. Let's get back. Hey, we'll hopefully get another call. If you want to call back into the show again, 980-549-1116. Let us know what's on your mind towards the conversation. We had the conversation about Kendrick Lamar and what that's looking like as far as just him as an artist right now, what that's looking like as far as him and his bag and his mode of artistry right now, what that's looking like. So man, but let's get back into what we're talking about. I just got thrown off. I got totally thrown off by trying to figure out what I was like. I hear the call coming through, but how do I answer? It definitely didn't work like it's supposed to work. But that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Hold on. Oh, all right. We got this thing. Let's see if we can do this one more time. Let's see if we can do this one more time. This is crazy. I hear it ringing, but I don't hear how to answer. I don't hear. All right, let's see. Let's see if this works. Let's see if this works. I'm not sure if this is gonna work properly. I feel like we're learning all together simultaneously and this is real time because it should work, but it's not one to do what it's not one to do what it's supposed to do. And let me see. Can I hear my caller? Can we hear who was our first caller? Nah, no, I definitely. Hey, you know what? It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. We're gonna figure out how and why. Our calls. Wow, our calls. Man, that's cool. That's cool. You know what? It's all good. We'll figure it out. Maybe I'm gonna say we'll try one more time. I'm gonna say we'll try one more time. I'm gonna say we'll try one more time and figure that situation out. I try to do this. I try to do this the right way and figure out how to do the troubleshooting on that. But it's all good. It's all good. We'll figure that out in just a minute. What's going on with that? And I try to get hey, I want to do this thing where it's a fun experience. I want to do this where it's a fun experience, but it's a very interactive experience. But it appears that may not be the case right now. But that's fine. That's fine. Let's get back to the show and let's get back to what we were talking about. Rizz and Money, Rizz and Money, Rizz and Money. I wanted to play that. I wanted to play that by Kendrick Lamar, and I wanted to play pretty much that his part of his halftime show because I mean, shoot, it's incredible what you can see, what you can do, and how you can leverage yourself and how you can put yourself out there to really leverage your brand. But now I want to talk about, as we talk about our goals for the week, right? And Kendrick Lamar is already, he's already laid out the foundation of how his week is going to go. I'm pretty sure. I would love to know what his week looks like now, following that impactful Super Bowl performance. But more importantly for myself, when we come off weeks like this and we're talking about this is Rizz and Money Monday, Rizz and Money Mondays. When you come off these weekends where my man told me, hey man, my cousin was in town. I had to step out for a bit, I got to get back for the week. And that's good because when, I read an article, what most top CEOs and what very wealthy people do on a Friday, they start planning out their budgets and they start planning out their financial aspects, of course, typically months ahead of time. Though they'll start doing those things before you're even the week even begins on a Friday night, looking at the whole looking at the next week so they can have their Saturday and Sunday to be ahead of the game, not just try to prep for things on Sunday. But we're here on Rizz Money Mondays, and I want to get us prepped for the week, at least on this aspect, and how we're investing in ourselves, not just the culture. So you may have spent money on the weekend investing into the Super Bowl activities. You may have spent money on the weekend investing into other fun activities, right? We got Valentine's Day getting ready to come up, and we'll talk about that and how we're building our budget for that. But I also want to talk about, focusing on investing in ourselves. And I say not just the culture, because sometimes we can get caught up in what is culture to us. It's a very loose identity we've fallen into, and it's a very loose identity we've fallen into, whether it comes down to the clothes we wear, whether it comes down to the different things that we drive. It always comes down to these things that do they represent culture, or what aspect of culture do they represent? And we're going to talk about that on some Rizz and Money Mondays. But I want to talk about today how we're investing into ourselves, not just throwing money at the brands and the events, but how we're actually taking monies and throwing into our skill building. Right. So that's why I can't wait for you to, I can't even wait for you to hear from Andrea Cole this week, who's owner of Honor Your Presence PLLC. And I mean, you talk about a license excuse me, let me not, I mean, her titles are I'm terrible with titles, by the way, but I don't want to botch it, so I'm gonna be right come Wednesday. But she is a Reiki practitioner. She teaches mastery in comedic Reiki. She's a licensed therapy is just a therapist, right? That's just, I mean, just across the board of holistic excellence, and across the board of how she works with people. And one of the things that you'll learn from her is how to incorporate within building your own skills, and why it's important to invest in yourself. Because when you learn Reiki, when you learn mastery of self, these are the disciplines of life that now help you and your generation. These are the disciplines in life that now guide you on how to live a more grounded way in living, so that you're not just spending your money frivolously. Maybe when you learn different meditations, when you learn different wellness attributes to life, now you realize I don't need to spend money on certain vices, because I've learned how to be within with self. And this is a real conversation that we need to have within ourselves. We need to have amongst ourselves more and more, because the things we spend money on do shift, and they play a part in our neural programming, right? And what I mean by that is they play big parts in how our brain activity goes. What are we thinking about? We know everybody says, I got ADHD. I got to go to Starbucks or go to this coffee shop and get coffee for my day goes. Don't talk to me for my day goes, right? But maybe you should just meditate. Maybe you should just be within. And it's not just about how just about how you just run and get this sugar fix, right? And how you're investing in your health and your wellness, how you're investing in certain things so that you can have, guess what? That emergency fund, right? So if you're spending $5 every day, $5, that used to be maybe it. But if you're spending $10 every day on your coffee, you're spending $10 every day on your juice or your sugar fix, then think about that when it comes towards the end of the year. You got 365. There are people that do this. No, there's people that do this. 365 times 10 equals what? $3,650. I did that because that's simple math. $3,650. They say it's important to have $1,000 emergency fund, right? $1,000 emergency fund at least. That's $3,000. If you spend $10 a day, that's $3,000 right there that you can have towards that emergency fund. Guess what? Certain vices, I know you may want to get your roll on, you may want to get your puff, whatever that may be. You want to go out and I want to have a drink this weekend. Again, do you have that emergency fund already checked off? And is that weekend of spending $80? Let's say you spend $80 a month now. We got 12 months. You spend $80 a month just on certain weekends. That right there is $960. $960 if you take a year out. You don't have an emergency fund, but you're spending $80 a month on fun activities. Guess what? Something's got to give. I'm talking to you like this because this is how I talk to myself. I'm inside, baby. You will know I'm inside. And reason being is because, and that's why even when I think about events that I'm creating right now, I think about R&B and poetry event that I host and curate here in Winston-Salem. I think about even our R&B Wednesdays. These are a pay what you can ticket. They have pay what you can tickets. And the reason I created that, a pay what you can ticket, was because I thought about things, right? I say, hey, we're going into times unknown. We're going into times where we're clearly seeing the shift. We're not coming on Rizz Radio. I know Rizz Radio, we're gonna have fun, but when we get into we get into that 8 o'clock hour, I feel like that's when really the preaching is gonna come, right? So work with me, work with me. We're not going into times where we're going into times where you're seeing the clear shift from the haves to the have-nots. The middle class is now being shifted, right? There's no longer just a middle class. There is now either you have it or you don't have it, or you're trying to get it, but guess what? You don't have it. So let's just call it for what it is, right? You have it inside, rich in spirit. That's what Kendrick Lamar said. He's our artist of the day. But when it comes to having that emergency fund for anything that may go on in life, there are times that I've been so blessed. It may have been an investment that I had over here. And now, yeah, sometimes you don't even want to touch an investment because you're like, I want this to build. I want this to build so that it can grow X amount when it hits when I hit this age. But then there'll be certain times and certain moments in life that come about where it's like, hey, I gotta use this bread. And because I've done the proper management for this to be there, as long as there are no penalties, and we're gonna speak to the proper financial gurus and the proper financial professions that know about, hey, if you mess with this, there may be a penalty at a certain point if you haven't touched it by a certain time. We're going to talk on those different things. But my whole point right now is more into the sense of what are we doing and what are we doing with our time and our money that can be more useful in other areas of our life to make sure that we are protected and covered. Sure, you can go out. I got on the poll right here on Facebook. If you tapped in on Facebook, I got on the poll. Hey, how are you spending your money this week? Are you spending your money in the sense of saying YOLO? Hey, just you only live once. Let's just roll the dice and kind of go with it from there. Right? Are we doing that? Are we stacking up for a rainy day? You may not be investing it. You may not be putting that towards anything. You may be saving it. You may have found a $5. Oh, doesn't that feel so good? Doesn't that feel good when you go in your pants pocket and you find that $10, that $5? I don't even know how that's gonna happen now with everything becoming digital. You can't, the money ain't gonna hide from you unless you got several different cards and you forget, oh man, I got a whole 200 on this card. I didn't even know. I looked on one of my things and saw I had some digital coins. I'm like, I forgot I had these digital coins right here. Boom. So are you stacking up and saving for a rainy day? Or are you investing in yourself and saying, hey, you know what? When you have your professions and you have your different people that offer different services, let's say like Andrea, who's going to be on this week, Wellness Wednesdays. Let's just say, do you have the different services that to invest in yourself where you may spend $600 with this person because this right here is going to tune myself. You may spend $200 in this book. You may spend $20 to go to Barnes and Nobles, to go to a bookstore and be able to spend that money for a book, which is going to be able to then help you and help you in your path of knowledge, you in your path of success, you in your path of enlightenment. That's what you may have, right? Or hey. I told you this week is a very impact. This week you got a lot happening, brothers, and some sisters. You got a lot happening coming off Super Bowl weekend. Now you got, guess what? Valentine's Day. So you got Valentine's Day coming up. How are you spending money towards that? Are you letting your partner know, hey man, I want us to be financial frugal. I want us to be financially smart. And you know, I love you. That's when you got to show up and got to create some kind of art. I made you this, baby. I made you this right here. Please accept this right here. You know, women be trying to do other things to. I don't have to give them nothing. I'm gonna give them this. Beep. you know, but it's about things that come from the heart. It's about things from the come from the heart when we talk about how we're spending our money. How we're spending our money. Are they feeding our desires in our heart? Or are they feeding the desires of our mind? Right. And the reason I say it like that, and I feel like there's so many different points and so many different layers to this conversation, because sometimes in our heart's desire, what we want in our heart so bad does it align with and then sometimes check this as a reality check of what is our mind desire, right? I'm talking about the actions for ourselves. Typically when you're talking about on a mental plane, you're thinking about those actions for self, that investment for self, that something that you know is going to benefit self to gain. Our heart is typically thinking about some kind of how we're going to feel. That's why, sometimes they say when you advertise to women are going to buy off an emotional impulse, right? That's been the thing that you learn in marketing class. I mean, it's not about making it a sexist conversation. It's just statistics have been shown. Women are going to see something and how it makes them feel. They're going to go with that. Men are thinking typically in their mind processing of, okay, what benefit is this going to give towards me, right? And again, this isn't just gender based. This is out there as a notion to all and how we all think as well. Because if you're spending money in the heart space of, oh man, this ice cream is gonna make me feel so good, and I don't mean to step on any toes out there listening. It just is what it is. I have been guilty of the same thing, boy. When I was young, I'm going to Bojangles. I'm going to, because I know this biscuit is going to make me feel good. I know this chicken supreme box is going to make me feel good, right? How much, when it's something about food, hey, when I stop this recording right now, I'm going to figure out how to give me some, I'm going to figure out what I'm about to spend and get some breakfast on, because I'm going to feel good after doing this. Our first show of the day on Rizz Radio app. Make sure you download Rizz Radio app. We're streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Playback TV as well. And talking right here on Rizz and Money Mondays, right here on Rizz Talk in the Morning, Rizz Talk in the Morning with yours truly, Poeticlee. But how are we spending our money? How are we being wise with how we're spending our money? And I look at that. So strategic spending balance on Valentine's Day. We're going to get into that some more throughout this week. We have our Wellness Wednesday. I'm pretty sure we're going to talk to Andrea about, what are some things to be, mindful of when it comes to Valentine's Day, and what is just some holistic things to be mindful of, though, with this stress, how to monitor stress. If you feel like you're kind of anxious about your, maybe your first date with somebody, we'll get into all that. But I want to talk about the money. You got to follow the money. It's Monday. You got some time. And maybe us talking together right here on Rizz Radio and Rizz Talk in the Morning is going to help you remember. And it may just help you tap in and say, you know what? I want to be mindful of my money. Lee's pointing out some good things. Lee is saying, you know what? Don't let Valentine's Day wreck your wallet. Don't let Valentine's Day wreck your wallet. Valentine's Day, on average, people are dropping around $100, $200, right? On average, $200 on gifts, dinners, and experience. What I want, again, if you do not have that emergency fund, what I want you to do is I want you to tell your person and say, hey, I want to do something special for us. I want to do something special. What I want us to do for Valentine's Day is, if it's within if you already have a budget to go out eat, perfect. You can go out eat. If you have a budget where you want to cook, cool, cook. You had that meal together and you say, what I want to do, I could spend $200 on our dinner. I could spend $200 on the roses so you can post on Instagram. I could spend $200 on going to this amazing experience. But what I recognize, and I'm speaking to a certain audience. If you have your emergency fund covered and everything else is good, ball out. YOLO. Ball out. fuck it, we ball. If that's the case. However, if you don't have that emergency fund, I want you to be able to, one, have a do-it-yourself DIY gifts. Now I'm talking about, hey, budget friendly. We're being budget friendly. Cook instead of going out, cook that special meal at home. And I want you to sit down with your person and say, I could spend $200 on this whole magnificent experience that I promise is going to be lovely for you. But I would rather say, hey, I've opened up an app, an investment app, and I want to be able to send you $50 to put towards that investment app. Now, there's some dope apps that I use. This is gonna sound like an ad, but it's not. But it's like I use Stash. Stash has been a really incredible app to use. There's some other ones that it's some other ones that are really amazing to use. And I use these apps, and I mean I'm telling you because a real I've been a real success story in how to invest. You can do very simple investing. Sure, you got the complicated, but I mean, I'm talking about there are apps that you can go on and you can really that are real deal. And that's why I say Stash, because I've personally done Stash the right way. And you can invest whether you invested in your government, you invested in the healthcare system, you're invested in tech businesses, and these things you get to learn how a portfolio builds. You get to build your own portfolio. You get to see how these things fluctuate, the market moves, right? And then using that and being able to say, hey, you know what? I could have spent this money on this experience, but you know what I'd rather do? I'd rather you download Stash. For example, you download an investment app, and I want to put $50 for that for you. That's my Valentine's Day to you. These are the things right now. And when we talk about, especially for my people, my community is melanated people, we're talking about breaking that generational wealth gap. When we talk about closing up to that generational wealth gap, because what is the generational wealth gap at now? Just the not the generational wealth gap, but what is the wealth gap between melanated people and we're gonna look that up. The wealth gap in the US. We're gonna look that up. I want to look that up and see, because I want my people to understand this is something, why these things matter and how they affect us. And we sometimes just think about these numbers and say, oh, okay, we're trying to close the gap on wealth. What does that really mean? Well, it means power, and not just influence, but now how are we have opportunities to work with each other. If you know I have now, if you know I'm secure in life, and you know that if I know for myself, I have 10 million to put towards my business, and then I have 3 million operating costs that they also get to fluctuate into how I hire personnel. Guess what? That is that's helping the wealth gap, because I am now able to be within the market, be within the system, be within the actual operation of how people make money, how people spend money. And I can now put my own people in positions where they're able to make money rather than just be consumers. How are we not just being caught up as consumers, and we're actually being you know looking at how we're actually being wise. Yeah, Andrew put, we're definitely going into these times. Yeah, times are unknown, but what will be known is how you value your dollar, right? Because we talked about Bitcoin, we talked about all these things and how the dollar fluctuate. We talked about, hey, in the first hour, how the Super Bowl itself is not even costing the same for the same slot. Think about that. 1967, $37,000 for a 30-second slot. 2025, $8 million. That time is the same time. We talk about eggs right now. Everybody's talking about eggs going up, when you talk about that, right? These costs, it's something like you laugh about and you say, oh, you hear the old people back in my days, bread cost a quarter, right? I just looked right here up on the American statsman.com. Nationally, the average cost of a dozen large eggs was $4.15 in December, up from $3.65 in November. Why is the price of eggs going up, right? there's a deeper, hey, I told, like I said, it's deeper than rap. It's deeper than all of this going on, right? And that's why you have to know the value of your dollar, the value of your time, the value of everything that you're putting together, and how that's allowing you to make the smart moves. That's the Rizz with your money. The Rizz is your charm, your energy, your charisma with self, right? You smiling with self, say, I know what I got going on. You being strategic with self, you being smart with self, you being wise with self, because self is going to get self into things and get self out of things, right? So again, we talk about having that emergency fund. We talk about for Valentine's Day how you can set up a nice investment for your loved one, so that you both are together moving in a financially smart and activated way. And I want to as we end, not ending yet, but we're getting close to our ending. Is what this show is from Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. um so the question I like to pose is, when it comes to money, do you believe money, right? And we're gonna get our call-ins working later. Fortunately, we had two, what was it, about two call-ins that just dropped. Blah. I have to figure that out. I don't know if it's maybe because I'm streaming. I'm streaming so many different places right now. I don't know if it blocked that, but that's cool. We'll figure that out. I know my browser. It was saying here, right here, your browser might prevent calls from ringing. Change your browser settings to play sound. I thought I did that, and it didn't want to work with me. So we'll figure that out. We'll figure that out. It's all good. It's all good. We'll get. We're here. We're here. We're not going anywhere, right? Asia, we're not going nowhere. Rizz Radio, we're not going nowhere. We right here. So we're gonna have time to work on this stuff. We're gonna have time to really see what's going on, how we get this thing going. But what I want to go back into, what I'm talking about right here, we're talking about on our Rizz and Money Mondays. When it comes to your money, and this would have been a great question to get some calls in on. But if you're on Facebook, chat with us. If you're on Playback TV, chat with us. If you're on YouTube, chat with us. Because I want to know, when it comes to your money, do you believe in saving aggressively or spending to enjoy life now? I want to know. I want to know, and leave a message. Leave a message. Call the number and leave a message. And then, because I'll play you back. I'll play you back. And if you leave a number, I may send you a text, say, hey, can you join? Can you join into the show? We'll tap in. Tap into you that way. But yeah, I want to know. Call in and leave a message. 980-549-1116. Again, that's 980-549-1116. And I want to know, when it comes to money for yourself, especially during these times, do you believe in saving aggressively or spending to enjoy life? Now, when I grew up, the elders always believe, hey man, save that money, save aggressively, have money underneath the bed, have money in the closet, have money just stacked somewhere just in case. You never know, right? Or do you believe in enjoying life bits at the best parts that you can, bit by bit? Hey, I'm gonna go out this week. Hey, I'm gonna go out next week. And again, when I talk about my R&B Wednesdays that I'm doing here in Winston-Salem, Simply Sonya's, it's a pay what you can ticket. And the reason I'm doing a pay what you can ticket, because in these times and in the era that we're living in, I believe in how a platform is also providing financially smart and financially intuitive options for their consumers, right? Because if you're only thinking in a very capitalistic mindset, which isn't going to help the capitalistic society we're in, if you're only thinking, hey, how do I make money? And you're not thinking about how do you help your consumer also benefit, and how you help your consumers spend their money wisely, sooner or later it's going to affect you. If you Because some people look at it like this, and I'll tell you like this, with the pay what you can ticket. Sure, I can do an event. I could do an event and tickets are $20 each, right? Let's do the math. I could do that event. Tickets are $20 each. They're on the website selling, and let's say I get 60 people come out. I made $1,200, right? Now I could do an event with an average of let's say $30, with an average of let's say 35, average of $35 per ticket. I remember I just said, oh, no, my fault. I'm gonna get thrown off. I had 60 people come at $20 per ticket. Now let's say I do an event where 80 people come, right? And the average is about $12 a ticket. What's my number at right there? What's my number at? That's $960, right? Now, one can look and say you are you got 20 more people in the venue, but your average cost went down from where it was $20 a ticket to now $12. Follow me on the math right here, right? We said that 60 people coming in at 20 is $1,200 minus that 960 is $240. $240 I just missed out on. But guess what? I got 20 more people in the building. I'm going to make this make sense. Remember, we started off the show talking about people do the Super Bowl unpaid for what? Leveraging advertising. At some point, you're going to have to pay advertising dollars to get more to reach those audience. So for me, if I'm able to say, hey, I'm going to miss out on 200, I'm going to possibly miss out on 200 some dollars, maybe a little bit of hair length, hairline of finances in the business, right? However, if I'm able to gain more people to come out, gain more exposure, people coming out, and gain a loyal fan base and gain a more loyal audience, that's what I want. You want to find that sweet mark. Now, of course, you don't want to find yourself where now the average income is $5 and it's not making much sense. You want to make it at some point, make it make sense, and then find it to benefit all those across the board. That's what you want to do. But when it starts, when you're starting off, you want to be able to get the eyes in there. That's why when you see certain apps are free, right? They're free because you get to get those people in there. So when I think about doing these events, and the reason I create a pay what you can ticket is because, hey, I know the people are going to spend money on drinks. I know people are going to spend money on food, and they're now spending money on the cover to come in, right? Because you're getting entertainment now, you're getting entertainment, but I know you're spending money on these things. How can I be more financially insightful to my audience and get them to see, hey, maybe you don't need to spend money on, hey, maybe we can work something out with the restaurant where you spend money on food and it comes with your ticket, right? These are things you think about as an artist as well. Maybe when you're creating your own event, maybe you're spending money on a ticket. Excuse me. Maybe you coordinate with the venue so that you have a ticket option that also includes a drink, right? These are the things that you think about, because now I'm going to bring it back to the polarizing question. When it comes to spending money, do you believe in saving aggressively or spending to enjoy life? Now, if you aligned yourself with certain brands that do, what we want to be able to do is complement both ends. We want to make you feel like you can save at a good rate and that you can spend to enjoy life. I don't think it's about being on just one spectrum by itself. Like, would you rather spend $1,000 on a concert, a vacation, or invest in your side hustle? Right? Well, my whole point to that again is, are you aligning with brands that are allowing you to kind of meet a middle ground within yourself? And do you have some of the things for yourself checked off? Right? So when I do this pay what you can ticket, you're aligning with the brand within myself. Yes, I'm patting myself on the back. Yes, I'm pulling my own coattail on this because you're aligning with the brand when we do these different things that now get you to see they get you to see that there's an opportunity for you to enjoy yourself, but at a rate that makes sense for you. And not all brands are going to do that. Not all businesses are going to do that. Not everyone can do that. It doesn't financially make sense for everyone to do that. But my whole goal is to align yourself with what speaks your language, right? And I'm speaking from a very broad conversation, from a lot of different moving angles and moving pieces. I'm speaking as the business, being able to, because we talked about today how businesses, for one, use advertising, and how businesses use brand advertising to leverage their businesses. I mean, again, going back to that $8 million ad spot for 30 seconds this year, going back to The Weeknd when he had his 2021 Super Bowl performance, spending $7 million of his own money, right? So these are the things that you take into consideration of how as a business moves, so that you can make sure you're providing the best experience for your audience so that they can spend to enjoy, hopefully. And you want to think about how you can also provide an experience so that people can save. All right, the NFL is not a pay-per-view experience. You can watch it as long as you have some, internet, I believe, some kind of service. Shoot, you can pull up at a bar outside and watch it there, but you can't. I mean, for what it's worth, the internet, I mean, the Super Bowl is free. For what it's worth, right? You can go over somebody's house and watch it. That helps you save, right? You may be now just required to bring the chips. Again, aligning yourself with experiences, aligning yourself with brands, aligning yourself with people, because we talked about Valentine's Day. People, I hate to break it to you, but is that the person for you? If you go to them now, you don't want to go to them with your DIY gift looking crazy. But if you go to that person and you're bringing something that is unique and special, and they see that you're coming from your heart because you want to be financially frugal, aligning yourself with people that are allowing you to be the best version of you when it comes to spending your money, so that you have your emergency fund ready and that you can feel like you have the charm moving and the attraction moving with and to your money. Now, as we wrap things up, and I definitely appreciate everybody that's been tapping into the show. I appreciate you. We've been doing this. This is our first day. So I mean, hey, one little blooper. We the phone got a little spooky. Not sure what took place on that end. We'll check that out. So I appreciate the caller. We had two calls, so I unfortunately didn't get to see what that was going to be like. I know that was going to be fun. And I look forward to us getting into the calls as we do our shows, because I want to make this an interactive experience. I really do. I want to engage. I want to hear what you have to say. I want to hear what your thoughts are. I want to hear how do we grow as people? And it takes the community's response. It takes those different things. So, as I wrap these things up, one of the things I want to talk about when we talked about money and it being tied to culture and business, right? I think the Super Bowl ads had to have you thinking, here's how to invest into the brands you love, right? How do you invest into the brands you love? Instead of just watching those, $8 million commercials, $8 million commercials, instead of just watching them, why not put your money into companies that align with your values? Again, thinking about, now, I'm not just talking about buying from them, but buying shares, right? Buying shares, investing, right? You see, these are the companies that clearly are using their money to make sure that they get their audience. Those are the ones you want to invest in. Those are the ones you want to see. All right, what are you looking like first? If you're publicly traded company, if you're public out there, how can I now invest in you? Even if you are private, now don't get it twisted. Even if you are private, how can I support? How can I be a part of this situation that you have going on? Right? These are the things that you think about. These are the things that kind of help make your business, make you as a consumer be now a responsible consumer. You're not just going inside the store. You're not just buying the product because it's a nice product to buy. You're actually buying it because you are invested into it. Yes, you are invested to it. So we're going to go on another music break. I'm going to play some tunes because, man, I really appreciate this. This experience has been dynamic. I'm looking forward to see what else we pull from doing this. And what else we create. So we'll go to a music break, then we're gonna end out the show. But I gotta play this because, hey, if it wasn't for them, I don't know if we getting the talent that we're getting at the Super Bowl. Let's go. Right here on Rizz Radio, Poeticlee. Rizz Talk in the morning. Let's go. Rizz Money Monday.
Jumping out the stage, jumping, hey. check. Put some respect on my check. Pay me in equity. Watch me reverse out of dicks. He got a bad chick. We live in lavish. I got expensive fabrics. I got expensive habits. He wanna go with me. He likes to roll with me.
Rizz talk in the morning.
Give me that vitamin D. Ice ornaments. Ice style tournaments. You ain't
Make sure you tap in with us on Facebook.
But I'm a jet.
Yeah. Buy me a jet.
Philippe Patek.
Yeah.
Get off my Give me the ball. Take a top shift. Call my girls and put them all on a spaceship. Hang one night when y'all say I'll make you famous. Have you ever seen the stage going ape? Step my money fast and go fast like my Lambo. Jumping off the stage, though. Crowd better save up. I can't believe we made it.
Rizz Radio.
This is what we're thankful for. I can't believe we made it. Have you ever seen a crowd going ape?
I'm a gorilla in the fucking coop, finna pull up in the zoo. I'm like Chief Keep Meet Rafiki, who been Lion King to you. Woo. Pocket watch it like kangaroos. Tell these clowns we ain't amused. Nana clips for that monkey business. 4-5 got change for you. Motorcades when we came through. Presidential with the planes too. When better get you with the residential. Undefeated with the cane too. I said no to the Super Bowl. You need me, I don't need you. Every night we in the end zone. Tell the NFL we in stadiums too. Last night was a fucking zoo. Stage diving in a pool of people. Ran through Liverpool like a beetle. Smoke Gorilla Glue like a
Rizz Radio, yours truly,
Tell the
Poetically,
Grammys Have you
Poeticlee.
ever seen the
Right here
crowd
streaming
going
on Facebook.
Step my money fast.
You don't know, we also make sure to download Rizz Radio app.
Jumping off the stage.
Download the Rizz Radio app.
Crowd better save up. I can't believe we made it. This is what we're thankful for.
Now, this is our Rizz and Money Mondays. Rizz and Money Mondays. Talk to him real quick. We're going to get back into the convo and wrap this show up. Make sure you share with a friend, tell a friend. We've been talking about that money. We've been talking about that money.
I was born to flex, diamonds on my neck. I like boarding jets, I like more than sex. But nothing in this world that I like more than checks.
What? That's what we've been talking about today. That's what we've been talking about today. That's what we've been talking about. I just want to let that play real quick. Because, hey, that's what we talking about today. That's what we talking about on our Mondays, Rizz and Money Mondays, with yours truly, Poetically, Poeticlee. Again, I'm just thankful and really just excited to bring this experience to you. This has been a fun first day. I mean, it was solid. I mean, you talk about sitting here, one man ISO. One man ISO, get out the way. It's just me talking right here, but I have a lot to say, a lot to get to, but really not a lot to say, a lot to reason on. So many different topics to bring insight to, so many different topics to bring perspective to. So I'm thankful, I'm grateful that we get to do this together. I'm grateful that we get to vibe out together again on our different theme days. If you are a financial advisor, you are an accountant, you are a financial institution, and you feel that this is the platform that's doing the right job on touching the things that you talk about, and you want to come on here and talk about it, let's hit me up. You can you can email me at contact, if you hopefully you know how to spell contact, but CONTACT, contact at poeticlee.com. That's POETICLEE, contact at poeticlee.com. Email me if you would like to join the show in any capacity of conversation. You can also call in to 980-549-1116. Leave a message, even if you miss actually getting tapped into the show. Leave a message, and you never know, I may play it onto the show and hear what you're talking about from that standpoint. And we're also just streaming across the board. So even I want to say to those people now, hey, those financial advertisers, those financial institutions, you can't be an advertiser as well. So tap in on that function, and we can get you going on that phase as well. Also, shout out to Playback TV. We're on Playback TV. A bunch of streaming going on right now, and I think that's why the calls may not work. I check back in with that and let you know. But stay up to date with me. If you're on Instagram, make sure you tap in with me at Poeticlee, Poeticlee. And you can also follow Poetic R&B, Poeticrnb. And then also make sure to tap in with Rizz Radio app. Rizz Radio app. Again, download Rizz Radio app. This is Black owned, and this is an experience that I'm very grateful Asia has put together for us to dive out. Again, Monday through Thursday, you can hear from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, talking music with Dom and Lee. That's going to be this evening, so make sure you tap in Dom. I know we're going to go into some conversation about yesterday. That's going to be pretty interesting, so I'm excited to get in that. That's going to be fun. And then Wednesday, Tuesday, we have Civics for the Culture, where we're going to talk about some civic things within our culture, how to be more civically inclined, how to be more civically activated, how to be, what's really going on to reading in between the lines. No, not really living blind. It's not, you don't want to live by fear, but you also you also need to know what's happening around you. You are in a space and in a time to be activated and to be one with your community. We are all one people moving together. So how are we moving together matters a lot, right? Matters a lot. So you have that going down on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday you have Wellness Wednesday, which we have our featured speaker, our weekly featured guest, that will be taking that spot over to talk about what she does and talk about how she can help bring some healing and holistic therapeutic insight into your life. That's Miss Andrea Cole. She'll be joining us Wednesday, 8 a.m. right here on Rizz Radio app and right here with myself. And you can see that again on Facebook and YouTube as well, and Playback TV. Anymore. And then you have Thursday being Lee's resolutions. You can see all this too. This is all online, so you can see the whole week schedule. Check into that. And we want to stay active as a community. We want to stay engaged. And I really enjoyed this first day tapping in, talking about our Rizz and our money, how we're attracting this money. It starts with ourselves, how we're actually being with ourselves, how we're actually really carrying ourselves and really holding it down. So I really appreciate you for listening. I appreciate you for tapping in. Make sure to follow. Make sure to stay up to date with everything else going on. I look forward to seeing what else we take. What else we do. I mean, shoot, this is a great start to this experience. So, till next time, I look forward to being able to speak some more. Until then, just keep enjoying and being the best version of yourself always. I'm out. Poetically. Till next time, we're out, baby.